Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, June 13th, 2019. Some bad things have happened. Really bad. And we're going to get into that, and it's got everything to do with the Strait of Hormuz. It's a tiny little strait coming just on the bottom side of Iran. It's right close to Iran, and it's where they bring all the oil tankers through. We're going to talk about that as soon as I'm done with the markets. First, we're going to get the markets done. And so, okay, let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here. Let's take a look at the silver price. What we see is $14.79 bid, $14.89 ask. And we see the price up 4 cents today on silver. And if we take a look at gold, we see $13.34, and it's up 90 cents. That's not very much, Considering what's happened, gold and oil should be gold price and the silver price should be moving upwards. Okay, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Future events are going to play out right here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin now. And Bitcoin is 81.28 on the day. It's up 2%. Bitcoin's doing really well right now. If we take a look at cryptocurrency market capitalizations today. We're looking at 262.7 billion with Bitcoin dominance 55.1%, and we're seeing most of these coins are moving up big time. We see Bitcoin SV is really taking off at $209 a piece. It's over 11% up. Ethereum's up over 4%. Now, Litecoin is the only one that's down, but that's because it really went up big time. It really gained a lot. It's at $135.97. You know what? It wasn't just a couple months ago, and they were like $27. $135.97. Wow. I mean, they're really shooting up. Now, let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil's going up today, and this has got everything to do with what's happening in this little area around this the Strait of Hormuz. A couple of oil tankers are on fire right now, and I have preliminary reports that one of the tankers is sank, but I'm not absolutely certain of that just yet. It's just early reports that one of the tankers is sank, and it's carrying a lot of oil. So this is not just an economic disaster. This could be a potential disaster for the sea and the ocean, because this has more oil in it than the Valdez. I mean, this is like a lot of oil inside one of these tankers. If it leaks out into the ocean, it can cause environmental disasters as well as not getting to its port of destination. So it creates problems all the way around. And we see the oil price is shooting up. 40% of the world's oil comes through this strait. The world can't live without oil. The strait has to be kept open in order for the world to keep running. I mean, you want your car, if 40% of the oil's cut off, we can't survive on only 60% oil. We need oil. We have to run our car, we have to get to work, everything's produced with oil. You go into the grocery store, all of the containers your food is in, those containers are made from oil. Oil is in almost everything. I mean, it's not in the actual food we buy, but you go and you say you want to buy your little girl a doll at the store. That doll has the plastics and stuff in it are full of oil. Everything's created from oil. We use oil each and every single day. This is an oil-based economy. If you cut off 40% of the oil supply coming to the world cannot survive. It's as simple as that. And 40% of the world's oil comes through this Strait of Hormuz. So this is a big deal. This really is a big deal. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Let me see. It started. Let's refresh the page. And the Dow Jones up again. It's always up on bad news. One of the reasons why it's up on bad news is because they figure the more the bad news comes along, this is their logical way of thinking, is the more bad news, more bad things come along means more stimulation from the Fed, means the Fed's going to be more dovish. Really, the markets entirely watch the Fed. And so now the markets can move up on bad news because they figure, well, this will make more stimulus from the Fed to try to maintain the market. And so the market's anticipating what the Fed's going to do. And that's why the market moves up, even on bad news. So we got bad news today, and what do we see? We see a surging stock market, you know. This is because they're anticipating rate cuts. They're actually anticipating 3 rate cuts. They're anticipating the Fed to go into their next meeting and cut not once, but cut twice. Cut 50 basis points. I think they're in for a huge disappointment. I think the Fed's going to go into its next meeting and they're just going to basically hold pat. They're just basically going to stay where they are. And they're going to come out with all this stuff that they always come out with. Every time they say patience, we're going to be patient on all this. Patience and talk is not going to work in the end. This market's going to roll over unless this market gets something good from the Fed. Some good news from the Fed for the market. You know, and more than just good news, action. Actual action by the Fed. And when they don't see the action, they're going to throw a tantrum. The market's going to throw a tantrum. When they don't get spoon-fed their baby food, you know, which is monetary stimulus by the Fed, money creation. They live on that now. The market lives on that. And the market can't survive without it. Cheap, easy money. The market cannot survive without it. And the Fed is going to go behind, they're going to back this market. Yeah, this market could throw a temper tantrum. And it probably will if the Fed doesn't lower interest rates. But ultimately, the Fed will cave in and they'll support this market. And this market knows it. And that's why the market's so high. The market's high because they're reliant upon Fed support. They're reliant on stimulus and cheap, easy money. Let's take a look now at U.S. Treasuries. And you know that this yield curve inversion is steepening worse, and it's getting worse, you know, all the way across the board. We see very little movement on the short end of the yield curve. And, well, a little bit of road noise. I hope it doesn't bother you guys. Anyway, we see a little bit of actual, very little movement on the short end of the yield curve, but larger movement in the middle of the yield curve. The largest movement is coming from the 5-year and 2-year. We're looking at a moving over almost 2.5 basis points each, you know, and their yields are getting really low on the middle of the yield curve. I mean, just look at the U.S. 3-year, 1.8%, you know, and if we look at the short term, it's much higher. And so we still have this yield curve inversion, and actually it's getting worse. It's gaining momentum. It's getting a little bit worse all the time as the days are going by. Now let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index. 97.04. And the dollar is up a little bit today. So now let's take a look at what's going on. This is the meat of the issue. Iran, first off, did Iran actually do this? Well, the reports haven't come in that they've done it yet, right? But if Iran has done this, the United States, never forget, the United States has the most powerful military the world has ever seen. And I mean, you want to talk about military power. Iran, if they've done this, what do they want to do? Question. What does Iran want to do? Do they want to open up a giant can of whoop ass on themselves? Is that what they want? 2 tankers damaged after torpedo attack near Strait of Hormuz. Look what's going on. Look at what's going on, guys. Look at this. Look at the fire billowing from the tanker. Look, here's a better picture. Look, the whole side deck. The whole side deck is on fire, right down to the waterline, and black, thick, acrid smoke is pouring out over the Strait of Hormuz. Right now, right this minute. And there's unconfirmed reports coming in that one of these two tankers has sank full of oil. Think about the effects on the environment, you know? So let's just read a little bit of this real quick. It says, the first reported photos from the deck of the front Ater have surfaced online, and it certainly looks like the ship was hit by a torpedo or some type of projectile. Look at it. Look at the fire. Oh, my God. The front of the Ader, Marshall Allen's flag tanker, damaged on Thursday's attack, has now sunk, it says, according to Iranian television. Later, others denied these reports. So, see, it's not really confirmed whether it's sunk or not. If accurate, the sinking could have serious impact on oil prices and the environment. The ship contained twice the amount of oil as the Exxon Valdez. While some sources cited torpedoes as the weapon used in the attacks, others have said officials suspect the use of a magnetic mine similar to the devices used in last month's attack. Well, last month's attack with these mines didn't really sink the ships. Whatever's doing this is got much more, it looks a lot worse than what happened during the last bunch of attacks that occurred. But Iran is suspected. Look at these tankers on fire and probably sinking. I mean, they're either going to burn up or sink or whatever. I mean, it's not good. What's happening is not good. These oil tankers are on fire. The Bahrain-based U.S. Fifth Fleet said it received distress signals from the two ships roughly 50 minutes apart. So the attacks probably occurred around 50 minutes apart. Well, that's what I'm assuming. As BBG reports, the incident will almost certainly inflame tensions between the United States and its Arab allies on one hand and Iran on the other. And so, you know, it says, although the suspected aggressor has not yet been officially named, an investigation into the cause of the incidents has only just begun. It says the notion that Iran will be implicated looks extremely likely, even as South Korea and Iranian ships helped to rescue all 44 sailors who were aboard the two ships. Iran has already denied responsibility for the attack. Well, you know, they're going to get to the bottom of this. They're going to find out where these attacks come from. Almost certainly they're going to get to the bottom of this because all the 40% of the world's oil relies upon this tiny little strait. You know, so this is big news, what's just happened, and we're going to have further reports coming in later. I'm sure of it very soon. This investigation is probably going to get underway very quickly into what happened here, and we're going to have further news on it coming right up probably within a very short period of time from now. This is not going to take months, is basically what I'm saying. Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.